Welcome to the Sunnyside of Freedom. We are here today with our friend Adam, a 22-year Navy senior chief. Hello.
How
And a
are you?
2-year Army veteran. I'm well, thank
Yes.
you. Happy Saturday to you. And for our viewers today, thank you so much for joining us. As you may all know, I do host lives here on the TikTok platform and on our YouTube channel, interviewing our veterans and getting their stories out, offering a little perspective as how we're all coming together as larger communities than just on a social media platform, which most of it has started on.
Oh, yes.
Yep. So both myself and also known as Gator or Adam or Tailgator on the TikTok platform actually met as a result of just that. We actually, aside from the Sunnyside of Freedom, which is well known and recognized on TikTok, um, you as well have been a part of We the Wolf Pack, which is also a friend of ours, and 420 Chief platform. These are platforms where we all gather as a pretty supportive community.
Oh, yes. We sit around and sing Kumbaya and eat s'mores all the time.
Wouldn't that be nice, though? As Chief often says, "It can't get any better than this. The only thing we need
Hey,
is a real campfire."
well, I'm not that far from 4 Points, so I might have to go up there and we just have a good old session again.
You know what I say to that, Adam? I say, "Do it." And I say
Yes.
that because not only have I had the pleasure of many hours on the screen, during our veterans' lives on the Sunny Side of Freedom platform, but also on the 420 Chief platform as well, but I actually got to meet him. He was at our 2nd, Sunny Side of Freedom, Uniting Veterans Across the Nation meetup, so it was really cool.
Yep.
And I'm gonna just throw that in there really quickly because that is the hope. The hope is that we don't just connect here on these platforms, that we take it off of the platform and actually start making, interactions on a personal basis. They've led to amazing friendships. And over the last several years of Sunny hosting her lives, and my goodness, in 2024, I think I met, it was either 18 or 19 veterans. And that's pretty amazing. Some days I think back, I'm like, did I really meet them all? I'm like, I really met them all. And it's
Yes.
pretty cool, but more importantly than just myself or what it's meant to me, it's what it's meant to, so many of our veterans who've had that opportunity, to come together at these meetups. These friendships are still taking place even well after the meetup. They're meeting up, as you know, 420 Chief actually drove out to meet with 4 Points and spent a
Mhm.
week with him, and that was
Yep.
after the meetup. So,
Yep.
definitely encourage you to do that if you can, for sure.
I know the boss and I have talked about taking a few road trips, and if we take a side detour and stop and see a few individuals, which, like I said a moment ago, we're so close to a lot of individuals that are a part of our groups. And if we could sit down long enough, even for your coffee talks, and share a story or two, I definitely am all for it.
I love that, and I think that's fantastic, and I look forward to it. I'm sure you'll share it with all of us. Those are always highlights, of course. One of the reasons, as you know, I wanted you hopefully to accept the invitation of allowing me to interview here is because getting your stories out and sharing your stories are so important for so many of our civilian friends who are trying to gain perspective and understand our veteran community, but also serves to hopefully reach another veteran that's out there who may very well be feeling alone or that, may just give them the courage to say, you know what, I want to share my story, which is not something that's always a part of our lives. We don't always get to share our story, and our stories are important. Although very different, they're just as important. So, thank you for being here today. And I'm going to hand it on over to you, whatever you'd like to share with us or for anyone watching today.
Well, first off, thank you for, of course, the invite and the support from your right hand man, 420, with this morning's snafus. And yes, we came into this live. We were giggling like two little schoolgirls, but it was due to some glitches. So, you know, here it be a Saturday, here it be that, I have the day off. I'm overjoyed to be able to spend this moment sharing a little bit about myself and my journey. I was a 17-year-old kid, and I had a direction I was going in life, and it wasn't at that time military based. I knew that I wanted to become a marine biologist, and my grades was there, but the drive to go to college wasn't. I'm a pretty big guy, and I felt, oh, well, if I ride the coattails of playing football, that'll be it. But I was sorely mistaken. And when I put in all of my applications for college and I didn't really get much of the response I was hoping for, a detailer came along and swayed me to go see the world. And military is big in our family. There's a lot that did the army route, but I don't know. I couldn't see myself in the army. So I said, you know what? Let's go check these other ones out. And by the time I got done, the Navy had everything I was looking for. And back then, so right around Desert Shield, in the mid '90s, early '90s, they were offering recruits a 2 or 3, 4 year enlistment, and I knew if I chose two and loved it, it wouldn't have made sense because then I'd have to reenlist. I didn't want to do four because that might have been too much. So I did 3 years, and I was like, okay, a wing and a prayer, let's go for it. So I did, and from when I did boot camp and the time I hit my first command, which was on the USS Boxer, she was on her way to her home port in San Diego. And I knew after arrival for certain this is what I wanted to do. Even before my first deployment, this is what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. Um, I love the ocean. Love the ocean life. Just to be out there on a naval ship and that smell, a lot of people's like, it stinks. Nah, to me, that smells like freedom. I'm doing something that has bigger meaning than myself and a purpose that um, is for everyone. And before I knew it, I had moved up the junior enlisted ranks. I put on my first chevron, and by then I was at my third deployment. I was like, where did the time go? Um, I'd already seen, I would say, all of the portable locations in Mexico and Hawaii, and I'd already been to Hong Kong and Australia, and I was like, wow, this is amazing stuff. And it's too easy. That's a reference that the military uses as well. It's not really too easy, but mentally, you just take it. Um, Before 2000, I was already an E5, and I was in a marriage that I had my son, who was born in '98. I was like, okay, so this is my purpose. Um, I knew I wanted to retire with the military. Uh, I'd gotten this far, and I sold myself for the career, to be a career man, um, to be able to retire comfortably, And it was through the military, finding the friends, finding um, lifelong family that, not even by blood, but um, many, many of which I do my best and stay contact with. And even now, so even with the individuals I've met, at least over the last 3 years via TikTok, YouTube, whatnot. I mean, a uniform is a uniform, but there's just that camaraderie and um, fellowship through the services is why I kept going. Um, a short time later, by my fifth deployment, here I am in E6, and I'm loving it. I totally forgot what it took to get to that point. 9/11 happened, and here I'm going out on my sixth deployment, and it just those things kept me wanting to stay and move forward. Um, it was a it was definitely one of the most rough times of my life, um, with everything that happened, in the United States and worldwide, and I just kept going. Shortly after putting on E6, I sustained a debilitating injury, but I kept pushing. In that injury, I fell in an equivalent of 3 stories, which, if anybody's ever been in the Navy, they know what a elevator trunk or an access trunk to a armament hold down at the seventh deck below the waterline. And I crushed several vertebrae and blew out some discs and bulged discs. And I was told I should get out, but I didn't. I kept pushing through. I didn't want that to limit me in retiring. And I don't know if it was selfish or I was just hard headed. I mean, I had to be because thankfully I didn't sustain any major head injuries, knock on wood. But again, I kept going. Um, 2004 was when I put on E7, and I went from the proverbial blue collar side of the Navy to the white collar, becoming a chief, putting on those khakis, carrying that anchor. And oh my goodness, Chief will tell you it. It's definitely a surreal moment. There's been a few times in my life where I just broke down, but in that moment, all the sacrifice and long hours and blood, sweat, and tears became relevant and worth it. And in my head, I would say that I come to terms that this is now obtainable. 30 years, in the long run, yeah, that seems like a long time, but shoot, in the 22 years, it seemed like I just flipped the page because there's so many things that I've seen, so many things that I've done. Um, that moment literally brought it all together. Um, there's not a day that goes by that I haven't forgot that moment. Even later that day, taking and getting all of my new uniforms all squared away, being handed an apartment and taking it and the lives of many. And it kind of chokes me up to think about it, but I haven't really in a while. But um, being able to mold uh, and shape and push careers in the right direction, um, it's a true blessing. There's not a soul that has passed by in my career that I didn't try to mentor or help um, to the best of my ability. And oh, sorry, I hadn't thought about that in a while.
It's
Uh,
okay.
2009, I put on my senior chief, and I knew it was either I'm going to go master chief or LDO, go warrant to become eventually a commissioned officer. All of those things popped into mind, and um, I knew that after OIF, Operation Iraqi Freedom, and Enduring Freedom, and uh, Afghanistan, and just being in the Gulf and all the other events, the finish line was in sight. One day come along, and the military tells us that they're making huge changes. And here over the last few days, week, we have a new administration, but the previous administration was saying that we're making some big changes, and you have to be softer with individuals. You have to coddle them. You have to do the things that the military has ingrained in my mind over those years, the complete opposite. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't be the individual that I was brought up to be with people that wouldn't appreciate the sacrifice that we've put in. So come 2013, um, I thought long and hard. I even went as far as already drawn up paperwork to do final enlistment, but at 0 hour, I pulled all the paperwork and said it was time to retire, leave the one thing that I knew, um, my life's work. At that point, to walk away it was much easier than my divorce, but I I regret it, and uh, I know now what I wish I would have known then that I can still do it. I could do it then, and I would have been just fine. But without doing so, I wouldn't have met this amazing woman in my life, um, my amazing four kids, uh, this crazy fur ball that's staring at me like I don't know what I'm doing over here. Um, yes, you. We we don't know what we're destined for. We don't we don't know what God's plan is for us all. But I am thankful that I took that detailer's advice and the recruiter to do what I've done. Um, I've seen some amazing countries. I've met amazing people worldwide. Um, I'm from a large family, but I'm from an even larger military family. And I am so thankful for each and every one of them that I call a brother and sister. Um, I'm thankful for you and Chief. Um, I'm thankful for Jonathan as well. I know he's watching probably. Um, y'all have reopened my eyes to see those of us who have longed for the outlet, have refound our purpose, uh, to give the voiceless their voices again. Um,
Absolutely, if I may. Um, what a story. And I know that at some point during your retirement phase, you were, like you just mentioned, you were questioning, should you have done it when you did it? The fact that you kept going after even that fall demonstrates the courage, resilience, and just amazing, very inspiring. And I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you for your service.
thank you.
And sounds like you had some events happen in your life. You mentioned you had a divorce, but you those are always fun. Um, but you found your way. You found a partner in life, and it seems like everything is going just wonderfully. You have beautiful children, and you have a little fur ball. You said those
Oh,
are always amazing. And I wanted to touch base on what you were about to kind of get into, which is the fact of reconnecting with your brothers and sisters, especially after retirement. What that's been like for you, aside from TikTok or any social media platform for that matter. What was it like for you when you did retire and you found yourself back in the civilian world?
at first it was extremely difficult. The divorce was just finalized. Um, without getting into many details at this moment, I lost virtually everything I had, and not just my self worth, that meaning the resiliency, the want to get up every day and keep trudging through life. It's like walking through a door and getting hit with that gust of air that you're not expecting, and the lights suddenly got turned out. Um, did you hear that? He's
Was
saying
that a
hi.
cat?
Yes, he's saying hi.
I thought he said no.
Right. He's doing his running. But I woke up and realized that even though it was all material, I had to pick myself up, and it took a while. But I was homeless. I was homeless for a good long minute. But as all things come to pass, I dusted my shoes off, my boots off, and I got up, put my pants on, and realized let's make something happen. And I had to start all over, not just mentally and emotionally, but physically. I had to do it for myself this time. And a few short years later, and of course, the things that I've gone through to get to Texas, I have found meaning again. I have found my purpose. And with the individuals that I have reconnected with through social media, outside social media, brothers and sisters that I have met over 22 years, there's some of us that have stayed in contact till today. Platforms is what from what we assimilate to, has broadened um, immensely. I am involved as much as I can with other individuals and sharing our lives and stories, and work through the demons and the stressors of day-to-day life, um, because there's many of us that don't have anybody else to talk to. And if this is what we're doing, um, to keep that light lit, um, I'll do it until the day I'm told to leave or I'm taken. But I'm happy. I'm truly happy again for the first time in a long time. And individuals such as yourself and the boss sitting over here, um, makes each day that much easier to go through. We we have our moments, we have our dark moments, um, but yet without these platforms, being able to talk about it uh, would have to take us back to old school, and here we are sitting around tables and doing it that way. And a lot of people aren't comfortable with it. Uh,
It's most certainly gotten easier to some degree in the sense that we don't have to sit around in a circle and say, "Hey, my name is," right? We tune in to these support groups, as I call them. I really do. It's a very supportive community, and with that comes many experiences from others who are sharing, and it genuinely makes you feel like you're less alone. Anytime there's somebody else sharing in a group, you're like, "Oh, it's not just me. I'm not alone in this." Everyone has a story and everyone's fighting something. And every human being has to fight with the balance of life, juggling life, and what led them to where they are today, those experiences. Um, and it's pretty amazing to hear your story and to hear so many different chapters of your life, right? So many different chapters and how you've overcome that specific hardship of, for instance, being homeless and having to dust yourself up. I actually say that quite a bit. All right, come on, let's go. I'll sit with you for a minute, but then we got to dust you off and get you back up. And that's life. And that's the hard part, is actually getting yourself to take the next step. And it does seem that you have done that for yourself and, never let go of that light. I actually made reference to it earlier today in Coffee Talk. As you know, I actually said, keep looking for your light, whether that light is in someone else until you see your own, or whether that light's directly in front of you. Keep searching, keep reaching, never give up. Too many are giving up. And if we had this opportunity right now, I'm going to ask of you, what would you say to them? What would you say to them if they were listening to your story?
in my moments of darkness, um, I've had three incidences that could have gone the other route, but yet I'm still here. I know for a fact there's a God. Doesn't matter which way you want to look, religiously or other. There is a higher purpose, there is a higher power, and he or she has meaning for me. There is a purpose for my life. Is it to bring joy, entertain? I don't know. I am quite the card sometimes, but I have a huge heart and I love to share it. I love those who bring me joy and to not dwell on the dark things. They will drive you and drive you and drive you to no end, but the wrong one. So, as Sonny just said, you got to keep looking for that light. If it's in someone else, if it's in a coffee cup, it doesn't matter.
So true. Coffee's
It,
life. Coffee's life.
coffee's
Um,
life.
Coffee's life, yes. That's where I find my light every morning.
Oh,
No, but
goodness.
honestly, I too believe that there's something much larger at play here, that we're on this earth. And yes, we all have a purpose and many purposes for that matter. And wear many different hats throughout our life and have many different chapters. And identifying with, the new you, that's a hard one too. The new you. "Oh, I'm a new person again." All these events and things that take place in our life reshape us, but I also believe that they give us additional strength in areas of our life that we didn't even know we had. We truly discover who we are in those hard times and, coming out on the other side saying, "Wow, I got through this." And, it's stories like yourself and so many, your stories are going to then inspire the next one to be like, okay, I got this too. And it does require a lot of energy. And yes, and sometimes we lean into support when I make reference to lean into that light because there's so many walking beside us. We just actually have to reach out. And that's the hard part. We actually touched base on this actually this morning on Coffee Talk. Why is it so hard to reach out? If you just reached out, and too often I think either there's a multitude of things that take place, but it's either that we convince ourselves that we got this, I don't need anybody. We have a pattern of behavior. We've practiced that quietness, keeping it to ourselves, keeping the door closed, and not having to talk about or address specific areas of our life that have caused pain or trauma or just negative areas that we don't want to talk
Mhm.
about. Who wants to go back and revisit the past, right? Nobody. But at some point, it is somewhat necessary in order to find the healing necessary to move forward, right? We don't want to stay there, but we definitely want to say, I'm done with you. It's like,
Definitely.
I want to close that chapter and I'm going to move forward. Um, but it's truly, we talk about 22 a day. You know this. We bring awareness to 22 a day, which is a number to be known to be much higher than what it is. And for those that are watching today, our viewers who are not familiar with 22 a day, we're making reference to veteran suicide. This number is believed to either be doubled or, if not, going towards tripling at this point. We have a mental health crisis on our hands. We truly do. And we can close the blind eye or we can continue to work together as a community within our society, finding within your own communities ways to improve quality of life for all people. And doing so means recognizing what's wrong. If you're walking by homelessness, start addressing these concerns in your own towns, especially our veterans. No one should be on our streets, but they are and at an increased rate. And I also realized after having many conversations with some of our veterans, it's also become a choice. Letting go of so much of the burden of trying to navigate a system that doesn't seem to always work for you. It's almost easier to be homeless. And I get that too. We get tired. We get tired. But um, as a society, we need to keep talking about 22 a day and raising awareness to 22 a day. Just this week alone, it came to our attention that there's a widow on our TikTok platform, and her husband took his life in the month of November. This is fresh, and once again, another reminder like, yes, this is still happening. It's happening every single day, several times a day. And what can we do about this? And it's voices like yourself and so many that I've already had the pleasure of interviewing and hope to continue interviewing that it reaches the right individual at the right time and they can say, you know what, I can do this. I can do this. Yes, I had a career in the military and coming back into society, which has been known just from conversations that I've had on my Veterans Live. It's a very difficult transition. Not many can understand that, especially civilians. And what advice would you give to somebody who's freshly new into society coming out of military?
Look for help. Don't think that you can do it because the military told you can. There's so many different outlets, so many different programs, so many different services that are available to you as a veteran. Just ask. Go to your VSO. Go talk to another veteran. Go to a VA hospital if you have to and start talking to people. Find out what you can get, either be it benefits, medical assistance. It doesn't matter. You're struggling financially. Let's go talk to the VSO. Let's figure out what we can do to offset whatever's going on in your life. Um, just be present. Show up. Get up and keep moving forward. We we get tired because we don't have the direction that we've had for years, and everything seems mundane. Just get up and be present, because it's something that says a lot of times, you can do it, we can do it, but doing it by yourself, your light would be extinguished for someone else because you may have missed out on something that could have given a life-saving situation.
Yeah, finding help, finding support. And let's talk about that. It's not always easy to do, but if you come across it, hang on to it. Um, I've seen so much transformation just in the last 2 years as a creator who has committed to hosting a Veterans Live every Friday. And that's not necessarily because of me or what I'm doing. It's because there's a sense of community, and that community is brotherhood, sisterhood, that coming together, knowing that someone's going to be there. And it makes a difference in people's lives so much that if one doesn't show up, we start looking. Where's so and so today? And that's important. I hear often from our veteran community, nobody cares, nobody sees us. And to some extent, there's truth in that. You're right. We forget to see people. We forget to see that there's real life things happening in their life every day, like the rest of us. And it's important to check on people, even the ones that are smiling a lot. And that's the truth.
Mhm.
I had shared with the group like 3 weeks ago, I'm like, "The smiliest of people doesn't mean anything." Mental health is mental health, and it can affect anybody at any given time, and um, it's just that much easier when you have a support system, and that's not to take away from our familial interactions, our significant others, we need them in our lives, but at the same time, giving the freedom to understand that not even our significant others, our family, our children, they may not even be the solution at that moment, but just reach out to somebody.
Yes.
It may be a brother, it may be a sister who will better understand because it resonates. And it's learning about these things that help us understand. We can't be everything for everyone all the time, but realizing that there is somebody, there's always somebody. Um, I appreciate you very much, Adam. I really do, and I'm happy to find you on this, as I call it, the sunny side of life. I
Oh yeah.
really am happy to find you here, and I'm happy to hear that you're happy and that
Yes.
you found your purpose again, and, that can happen to any one of us. I think sometimes we beat ourselves up, and we think that there's something wrong with us personally, not giving ourselves enough grace to understand that life is happening, and it will blow you down. And it's not as easy as just dusting yourself off. It doesn't happen overnight and it takes a lot of work. But I'm super proud of what you've been able to do. I'm super excited to see where your journey leads. I do see that you're wearing a shirt today that came from the sunny side of freedom. Want to
You know,
tell me about that?
somebody, uh, her first day, we're doing. Oh gosh, what was it? It was the veterans giveaway.
It was Adopt a Veteran
Yeah, adopt a veteran.
for the
Yes, and
holidays.
you did the little side game for those who were supporting and donating, and um, Donnie Pooh, or the boss, she had tossed in a couple dollars into the support and
Yep.
ended up winning this shirt. And lo and behold, here I had totally forgot about it. I mean, I kept reminding her, and I'd message you. Okay, you put up something about Darren Pooh or what, whatever. Her name was all wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got that all squared away. Well, I totally forgot about the shirt, and then she hands me this package one day, and it's this.
Yep. She had reached
I
out to
wasn't
me.
expecting it. I thought she was going to get herself something, and I would totally been fine with it because
Yeah.
any support is better than none at all. But she handed it to me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you have no idea how much this means."
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that shirt, actually, I had it designed for that specific raffle because it was the holiday time. And yes, we ran our adoptive veteran. We adopted 5. And then for those that supported, I entered their names into a drawing for that T-shirt. Even heroes need support.
Mhm.
Not all wounds are visible, and veterans' lives matter. This is a message we're going to continue to repeat. We're going to continue leaning into the support, the right support, and, hopefully every time we go live and every time we join our group, we see new faces. And it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing to continuously see the family growing, the families expanding in the way that we have. Some amazing people out there doing great things, recognizing that people need people. And yes, we can be, look, we're bridging the gap right here, civilian and a veteran. And yes, I host a veterans live. Go figure. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. And that's my message out there for our viewers. Get active in your communities. Start being the voice. Let's help break the silence and the stigmas. There are many stigmas that are
Oh,
currently affecting our veteran community, and we have to work together. I can't do it alone. Many can't do it alone. It's much larger than that, and definitely requires a lot of attention. So, for closing thoughts as we wrap up, would you like to leave us with any parting words?
a few weeks back, I left a very emotional message, um, but I'm going to give one that is a little shorter. Chief, he can tell you what it's like to go into a chief's mess for the first time. If you don't know what a chief's mess is, it's the same thing as a galley or lunch hall or chow hall, however you want to look at it. There is a standard amongst chiefs, LDOs. Don't wash your coffee cup. It has flavor. I never washed my cup. I know it's somewhere. And thankfully, the last time I seen it, it wasn't moldy or anything, but it definitely was flavored. Veterans um, come in all shapes and sizes, and even civilians, such as this young lady over here. We honor you too. Don't you look over your shoulder.
I was looking for Dawn.
She's
Dawnie
right.
too.
She's right here. Uh, you are our veterans. You have gone through the trenches just like we have, even those significant others where they may have lost their own veteran. You are our flavoring. You are our veteran. And I am so thankful for today. I am so thankful for this moment that I was able to share with everyone. I'm thankful for you having me in. And I hope that this reaches, even if one, many, to say that you're not alone. We're here to help. And hopefully, this gives you that nudge to get up, to be present, and to be that light. So thank you.
Thank you for being here, and for our viewers, thank you for joining us. If you'd like to see more interaction and make what we've been making reference to on the TikTok platform, Sunnyside goes live every Friday for Veterans Night. I also go live other nights as well. But I just had coffee talk this morning with 420 Chief, and the chief he refers to is 420 Chief. He's also here on our TikTok platform. Be sure to give him a subscription as well. It's been amazing to have you here today. Thank you so much for taking the time and wanting to, share words of encouragement. And most importantly, never alone.
Never
You
know.
truly never are. You
No.
truly never are. And please reach out. Guys, part of understanding life is understanding that you're human and you're intended to go through many emotions, even the bad ones. But that does not mean you get to quit. And those are my words to you. You cannot quit. Quitting is not an option. We keep fighting. And when you can't fight alone, you fight with others and we stand beside you. Much love, peace, and light to you. I will see you again on the TikTok platform. It's been an honor to get to know you, and I appreciate having you here today. I can't make hearts because I'm not on my cell phone, but I'm hearting you.
Ah,
I'm sending hearts out there to all of you. To all of you, have an amazing time. Thank you so much. Please follow us. Be sure to subscribe, add any questions that you might have in the comments section below if there's anything that came from today's interview, and I thank you. Much respect.
love you.
Much love.